I'm really happy to be here today to share a bit with you about gamification and the digital workspace. But before we dive into the topic,
let me start with a quick question. So, have you ever looked back at how you worked like 5 or 10 years ago and thought, wow, that already feels outdated? If we think about like fax machine, maybe most people no longer know what a fax machine is or how it's used. And this is exactly what we're talking about. So, that's the result of the digitalized world that we are now living in. And it's not just about the tools like these fax machines or Microsoft Word, but it's about how the technology is evolving, how it is changing the way we are using it, how we are working with it, and how we are collaborating with each other. Today, I'm going to show you a few simple examples of what that actually looks like in real life. So my name is Kerona, and I'm a global change and adoption expert, and I'm based in Vienna. What I do in my job is to help our more than 5,000 employees to transition from, into what we call the modern workplace. And I do this by introducing better tools and also helping the teams to collaborate more effectively while they adjust to this new normal way of working. Now, outside of work, I'm actually a master's student in international management and leadership, and I run an online mentorship program to support Caribbean people. So today I'll walk you through four things. So first, we're going to compare the traditional and modern workplace so that we can have a clear idea of what this shift will look like. And second, and I'm going to show you how we collaborate in my interactive workspace that we use in my mentorship program. And next, we're going to be showing you how you use AI in your daily work or in your studies. So I'm going to give you an example of what I use as well. And at the end, I'll share some free learning resources that you can explore. Please feel free to hold your questions if you have some, and at the end, you can ask me all of them. So there are several different digital transformations that are currently happening in the workplace, but let me keep it simple. So think about how a traditional workplace operates. You have to travel to the office. You're also emailing attachments back and forth. And if we think about it, we're creating everything from scratch on our own without using AI or anything. This is in the traditional workplace. Also, meetings happen in a physical room. So we have a projector and a boardroom, for example, and this is how we have our traditional meetings. But in the modern workplace, if we compare that, then we see that we have flexible work, work from home or remote work. And with this, we can now work from anywhere in any country at any point in time. So there's also sharing of document links. So we no longer are sharing files anymore, collaborating on files. We are now sharing links. So if you've ever gotten a Google link to join, then this is what we're talking about. And AI is now also a big topic. Nobody is really doing anything on their own anymore. People are collaborating with AI, asking AI to help them to make small drafts and to create photos and so forth, to help them in the different tasks that they are doing. We're also meeting online in Teams or Zoom, or here we have this Google Meet platform that most of us are already familiar with. But collaboration goes far beyond just that, because now we have something called an interactive workspace. And in my mentorship program, we mostly collaborate in this interactive workspace called Work Adventure. And that's what I want to show you next. In my interactive workspace, everyone gets to create their own avatar. They can move around in the space. They can talk to each other privately. And we can also do the same thing like what we're doing now on this Google Meet. So we can host meetings, do screen recordings, and even record the sessions and communicate as a group. Yeah. But the big difference is that this platform helps us to feel more connected to each other as we are collaborating from all over the world. So right now I'm in Austria and my mentees are in Jamaica, and I always feel like we are at the same space, even though we're not. So it also helps to provide this office space so that we can feel more like we are at work, basically. And There's also the possibility to embed games, as you can see on the screen, and listen music. There are so many different possibilities that are existing and that go far beyond just a simple Zoom call. Now, at the end of the presentation, I will share a link in the chat, and I think Sid can also share it with everyone else in the room so that you can have access to this interactive space. Not this specific one, but I've built another one, and you can roam around there and just experience what it would be like to work within such an environment. Now, let's shift gear a little bit. Another big topic is AI. Yeah. So most people are familiar with generative AI tools like ChatGPT or other similar ones like Claude or Copilot. And these tools help us to think through ideas or like create content and also help us to solve problems way faster than we could have done maybe like 5 or 10 years ago. I'm a little bit curious about how everyone is using AI. You can type in the chat how you are currently using AI right now. It would be really nice to hear maybe what tools you are using, what AI tool are you using, and how are you using it. So maybe we can take a second to see if we get some responses in the chat. If there's one person who would like to share in the audience, in the physical audience, that would also be nice. Okay, so Michaela says that she uses it to help her draft emails. And Sarah says that she used it with resume. Yeah, really cool. And schoolwork. Perfect. Now, there are so many different ways how you can use AI, and this also depends on your role. Now, if you're job hunting, you can use it to, for example, improve your CV or to prepare for an interview, because now we also have AIs that can talk to us, talk back to us, give us feedback, pretend like they are recruiters, and help us to prepare for our interview sessions. If you're an entrepreneur, it can also be helpful to give you ideas or help you to understand your market. And as a student, it can help act as a study partner or a research assistant. But these are just a few examples because, of course, the key is finding out exactly what works best for you and what tools work best for you. Now, I want to share with you one tool that I'm using personally as a student, and this tool is called Google Notebook LM. If you've never tried this tool before, then I'm already marketing that you try this tool because it's super helpful. So I'm mainly using it like a research assistant at the moment to analyze my research papers. And the way that it works is that you upload your documents and everything sits on the source panel, which is on the left-hand side. Then it can give you a short summary of what the content is, so you don't have to read all of those paper to know, does it make sense for what you need. And the coolest feature is the fact that it has something called Studio. And within Studio, you can create an audio overview if you prefer to listen, because I'm an Audible learner and I rather to listen than to read. So it really helps me a lot. Also, it can help to create quizzes or mind maps, and these can also help you while you are studying. So it can be a really supportive tool for studying. And this isn't just for students as well. So if you're running a business or if you have a job and you need to review reports, of course, non-sensitive data or maybe competitor data, then it works just as well. One important thing to note is that it takes information only from the sources and it does not hallucinate. So you don't have to worry about it providing some incorrect information, because all the information that it provides when you ask a question about the documents, it will all come directly from the documents. And the best part about this is that it is free. So all you have to do is have a Gmail account. Yeah, and once you have that, you will be able to access that. You can just go to Google Notebook LM and you can access that for free. Now, to understand one important thing, AI will not replace you. Yeah, but, and there is always a but, it will definitely change how we work, and it will also replace those who cannot use it effectively. So it's the same way how email have over time replaced the fax machine, and nobody knows what a fax machine does anymore. But the real question now becomes, how do we use it well? And this brings us to the next important skill, which is writing good prompts. So this is where lots of people tend to get stuck, because AI is only as good as the instructions that you offer to it. So garbage in, garbage out. Now, prompting is simply giving clear instructions about the results that you would like to have. Now, if you're asking AI, oh, please update my resume, then this is a prompt. However, that's probably not the best prompt to use. A good prompt usually includes four things. It needs a goal, which is what you want to achieve. It needs a context, basically giving it some background information to work with. You also need sources. So a source could be a job description. If you are asking it to update your resume, you might want to provide that job description so that it has this information to work with. And then you need to give it some expectations, like tell it what kind of results do you expect, what is the tone, maybe the length, and so forth, in order to give you better results. Now, when you include all of these, the answer becomes so much more useful, and you can try it for yourself. Try to give it a basic prompt without any of these four items, or maybe you just use one, and then use all four and see if you like the results. So you can always test this out on your own. Now, here's a simple technique that I want to share with you. So the next time that you use AI, you can try this out. So it's called role-based prompting. And what this does is that you tell the tool who should it act like. So for example, you can say, act like a senior recruiter and review my resume and tell me maybe the top 5 skills that I'm missing for this job. Of course, you're going to be providing the information here for the job and maybe some more context about what is inside of your resume. Now, that small change will for sure make a big difference. And instead of copy and pasting the answers, you would now be working collaboratively with AI to improve your resume. Now, you don't need to be an expert to start doing this, of course not, because all of these skills can be learned. And you don't need to even break the bank, because many of these platforms are also free and give you a lot of different courses that you can take to build your skills. Now, what I want to show you is a few platforms that I would recommend that you use if you would like to access free courses. And this is not just for AI. You can explore other skills topic on there. I recommend, for example, LinkedIn and Class Central. Of course, LinkedIn is not free because you have to pay a premium after the trial, but I recommend you take a trial and dedicate your time to this 30 days to get as much certificate as you need based on whatever job you're applying to. And then you will get that certificate for free once you are finished. But of course, you have to finish before the trial ends. Class Central, on the other hand, offers a lot of different free platforms that you can use. They're also paid platforms. So if you're motivated to get a particular certificate and pay for it, this is also possible. Then we have HubSpot and Google. Google Skills Shop. These are really, really great if you are looking to get some certificates for maybe remote work or marketing jobs. And then finally, we have SAS for Students. And this is a really wonderful platform if you are interested in data analytics or programming. And if you're a student, then you get 1 year for free. I was also using that last year, and it was really great. I learned how to build a lot of different reports for a company, and it also helped me to move the conversation along in my job interview that I had, as I learned a lot about reporting, which was needed for the job. Yeah. So these won't actually replace a degree, but they do strengthen your resume. And as I said, it really gives you something to talk about in the interviews. Thank you so much for your time and your attention. And if there's one thing I want you to take away from this, is that the way that we are working is now changing, and learning how to adapt will make all the difference. If you have some questions, or if you want to take the topic further, I would love to connect with you. Please feel free to send me a message, for example, in LinkedIn. And if you have some questions now about the presentation, I'll be happy to take them.